AITA for walking out of the airport when I saw my husband's mom standing there with her luggage. I, 30 female, don't have the best relationship with my husband's mom. Since day one she tried to make remarks and compare me to her. She then tried to get on my good side and started overly praising everything I do and sometimes even copying me, like that one time when she literally dyed her hair purple just like mine. And when everyone pointed out how ridiculous she looked, she actually blamed me and accused me of trying to make a joke out of her. So my husband and I took 2 weeks off work to go visit some places out of the country for our anniversary. The thing is, I was the one who saved up for and arranged for the trip. My husband was responsible for booking the tickets and hotel. My husband's mom wanted to come along and threw temper tantrums when I said no. It was meant for our anniversary. It doesn't make any sense why she should be included. She called, texted, sent people to talk me into letting her come, and even threatened to call the police and make some complaint up to get us to stay if she can't come. My husband got so fed up and said we should just take her, but I told him he was wrong to tell her about the trip in the first place. He gave me an ultimatum, said he wouldn't go if she can't come, and I told him I'd gladly call his bluff, which made him take his words back and say fine. I will tell her to stop it because we won't take her. Things got quieter, suspiciously quieter. The day of the trip came and we got to the airport at 2 p.m. My husband was walking ahead of me and was looking left and right like he was looking for someone. I asked him, but he didn't respond. He led me to the waiting area and the first thing I saw was his mom standing there with her luggage. I froze in my spot. I felt a cold wave washing over me, and I was fuming inside. She and my husband were hugging. That's when I quietly turned around and started walking towards the exit. My husband followed me while shouting at me to stop. He tried to stop me, but I told him off in the harshest way possible. He tried to say I was overreacting and that his mom was there anyway and I should let it go and not mess the trip up for us. I told him he and his mom could still go and that I was going home. I went home and sobbed into my dog's fur for a good hour. Turned out he booked her a ticket without me knowing. They still went on the trip, without me. A few hours later, after they landed, he called me yelling and raging about how pathetic and spiteful I was to walk out and go home and ruin the trip last minute. I told him he caused this to happen. He said that I was being so hard on his mom that it was ridiculous. I refused to fight anymore, but he kept on berating me and then called my family to tell them that the anniversary trip was ruined and that it was because of me. My family said that I shouldn't have ruined it for myself and should have sucked it up and done my best to enjoy it. Did I really overreact? I left my own wedding last week after hearing what my fiancé really thinks of me. I, 26 male, and my now ex-fiancé, 24 female, had been together for 3 years. She was my first serious relationship partner and we have been doing good even though we sometimes had ups and downs. But we could usually solve the problems by sitting together and communicating with each other. We were supposed to get married last week and everything was on track. In my country, before the wedding day, a special event is held. It is very much similar to a wedding ceremony. People dance to the music together, eat, and have fun. This event was held at our village's wedding hall, which is small. There is a break in the middle of the event so people can go to the restroom or handle their things in general. My ex-fiancée went to the restroom with her friends and after that, everything was normal. That night ended just like that. The next morning, I woke up to several messages including voice messages and a video from a close girlfriend of mine and my little cousin. They were saying I should reconsider the marriage and watch the video. It was obvious that the video was taken in a toilet stall and I could hear footsteps of people. There were several voices that I recognized, like my ex-fiancée and her friends. They were saying things like, and you reward him with the love-making few times for the rest of your life and you have a purse at your service, and my fiancée laughing to her friends calling me a doormat. I earn tons of money compared to others in my age mainly due to the industry I am in. At one point, they started talking about the dresses of the family members and after they criticized my mother's dress my fiancé said the following: "She is batshite crazy as always, she is barely walking lol." Quick note, my mother has a psychological disorder but due to the meds she is taking, she looks sleepy all the time and her response time is slower than other people's, but she is the sweetest and most hardest working person I know. My father left us when I was little. She was both a mother and father for me and worked her butt off to send me to college. One more thing to add is she was very sweet towards my ex-fiancé and considered her as her own daughter. After watching the video over and over making sure I am not dreaming, I called my friend and cousin to confirm things. Apparently, they said more horrible things than just that, but my friend started recording in the mid-conversation and my little cousin confirmed hearing things too. I talked about this with my older sister and a friend coming from abroad. Sis was so angry that I was barely able to prevent her from going to my ex-fiancé and beating her up. I told her I would handle it but not sure how. I don't know why, but I just wanted to think more about it. Wedding things were arranged during the day and in the evening, the wedding ceremony kicked off. There were more than 300 people and everyone seemed to have fun except me. I was out of place all the time thinking about my life, my goals, what I want to do. When it was time for the wedding promise, my ex-fiancé answered yes. When I was asked, I just watched people sitting at their desks, drinking alcohol, and looking at my face for I don't know how long. That silence after the question was loud as heck in my head screaming. At that time, I realized I didn't want to do it. I stood up, took the microphone, and very clearly answered, "No, I do not want to be with that person in good and bad," and gave a short speech of the reasons implying I knew everything. With a lot of gasping from the audience and my ex-fiancée and her friends' faces going pale, I straight up called my close bro on the microphone, went to his table, and then left the wedding before people even tried to stop me. Me and my bro went home to pack things up like work laptop and several pairs of clothes. He came from another country so he changed his flight to the next day and booked me tickets. All that time my phone was blowing up with calls and texts. The next day we took the flight and went to his country. It has been a week and I have been busy messaging my close friends and relatives about everything. The wedding cost me a good amount of money, though it is relatively small for my income, and I heard my ex-fiancé is still losing her crap. I can stay for 90 days in the country I am in without a special visa, but not sure what to do after. It will be tough once I go back as the village I am living in is small and everyone knows each other. In the end, I believe I did the right thing by not going ahead, but I completely lost confidence in myself and don't believe I will ever get in a relationship again. Something in me just broke. I felt it. I told my girlfriend my type. It's been secretly eating at her, and I had no idea. Sometime a while back, I brought up the topic of types. I mentioned it because her best friend and I seemed to damn near be the exact same individual, just of different genders, and I joked that she must have a type. She took it a bit more seriously than I intended and proceeded to tell me she wasn't sure she had a type, but she did like it when men were comfortable with expressing femininity, and that she thought tattoos were cool. Then she asked me my type, and I told her that generally it's been curvy blondes with long hair, big chests and blue eyes. She lightly teased me for having basic tastes and we moved on. The past couple of months, she's been asking for constant reassurance. Asking if I'm sure I like her immediately after moments of intimacy, asking if I find her attractive, etc. She also stopped coming with me to the gym, which was strange because she loves weightlifting, and has lost a lot of her muscle tone. This morning, a woman walked past our car at a red light. I sincerely didn't notice her, but my girlfriend said, "Wow, look at her. She's exactly your type." I hadn't thought about that conversation since it happened, but everything made sense, instantly. I told my girlfriend that she was my type, she said, "Not even close," and started crying. I have only seen her cry one other time in the 4 years I've known her. My girlfriend is tall, flat-chested, muscular and has short brown hair and brown eyes. She's beautifully androgynous and occasionally people mistake her for a very pretty teenage boy. I love and am attracted to every bit of this about her more than any other type that exists because she's her. She said when she spoke about her type, she said she described a vague style pretty much anyone could embody, and I do dress and style myself a bit adventurously for a man. Meanwhile I described an individual person she was in no way similar to, but always felt like she was expected to be. She said she couldn't go to the gym anymore because she'd tell herself I was checking out other girls. I glanced sometimes but not egregiously, and we used to do this together, and all she could think about was how unlike my ideal woman she was. That one throwaway conversation has been eating away at and completely wrecked her self-esteem for months, and I only just realized. Looking back, she definitely did try to bring it up once before early on, and I brushed it off with, "You're perfect for me baby, don't worry about stupid stuff," not understanding how bad she was feeling. So yeah, I feel like I messed up. Not sure what to do about it. My girlfriend of 6 years cheated on me with my best friend, so I ghosted her and potentially ruined her life. For the past 6 months my girlfriend Helen and I haven't seen much of each other because of my recent work promotion that's been the opportunity of a lifetime. Helen and I have been together since university and she was the love of my life. Sweet, dedicated, fiercely loyal and my best friend. Together we've done some pretty amazing things, and when I look back on my life highlights, our travels and years together will definitely be there. We had been finding the time away from each other tough. However, she's been really supportive and has continued to tell me to focus on the job for now. I know now that it's been a lot harder for Helen than she let on, and for me I've just desperately missed my partner. However, a month ago I came down into the bathroom to say good morning to Helen, and noticed a big love bite on her neck, which she'd been hiding under big jumpers. I confronted her about this as I hadn't been able to touch her in weeks after contracting scabies in Africa. I knew it wasn't me. This all happened so fast I barely remember anything that was said. I just remember the feeling that my stomach was suddenly lined with lead. She told me it was an allergic reaction of all things, but after pressing it became clear she was hiding something, and then it quickly became clear that we both knew what had happened. Turns out she'd cheated with my best friend she secretly met up with, says she went to him for advice about our relationship and ended up seeking affection from him. She told me, obviously begged for another chance, asked me to marry her, and then eventually left in a taxi to her friend's house with her bags that I packed for her. After she left I calmly got everything ready for work, made my packed lunch, ironed my shirt and then just lost it. I sat down with some whiskey and some smokes and wallowed in self-pity for the night. This has been my nightly routine for the last week while she has been at her friend's house. I've had a history of depression, so whilst this has hit me unbelievably hard, the numbness and feelings of emptiness ultimately makes it easier to get things done. Over the next few days I kept silent, and didn't respond to any of the 90 missed calls. I dropped all her things at a friend's house with the intention of disappearing. The next few days kind of led to a few impulse decisions. I went straight to my boss, who is also one of my best friends, who offered to give up all his annual leave so I could sort myself out. When I told him being in that house would just bring back bad memories, he made me an offer, a year-long position working on an enormous project for an international government, and I took it. This involves a completely new role, a new life in a new country, and a completely different kind of office and project. So I put my house and my name up for rent, which my girlfriend and I live in, and decided to just buy a ticket and head to my new home early before the position starts. The taxi is coming in about 2 hours. Helen knows nothing. She will come back to being homeless and all her things at my friend's house, which she will somehow have to figure out.